who's actually going to get the most out of a 17-inch gaming-focused laptop, who might be better off skipping it, and does the price make sense for someone who just wants solid day-to-day performance? Those are the questions that keep popping up on forums and in the comment sections whenever a new flagship model hits the market. If you're on the fence, you're probably wondering whether the extra screen real estate and the big RAM numbers actually translate into a smoother experience, or if you're just paying for a lot of hype. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's start with the hesitation most buyers feel. A 17.3-inch chassis is a commitment. It's harder to slip into a backpack, the battery life can feel like a trade-off, and the cooling system has to work overtime to keep a high core count CPU from throttling during long sessions. At the same time, the promise of a 10-core Intel i5, 64GB of RAM, and a 2TB SSD sounds like a dream for anyone who wants to game, edit video, and keep dozens of browser tabs open without a hiccup. The crux of the decision is whether those specs actually solve the everyday pain points you've been dealing with: stuttering in open-world games, long render times in Premiere, or the constant out-of-memory alerts when you try to run a virtual machine. If you're a student who spends most of the day in Zoom lectures, writing papers, and occasionally dabbling in Photoshop, you'll likely find the larger screen helpful for multitasking. The extra real estate means you can have a spreadsheet, a research PDF, and a chat window all visible at once without constantly alt-tabbing. For a professional who needs to run heavy spreadsheets, virtual machines, and maybe a bit of CAD work, the 64GB of RAM ensures you won't hit that dreaded memory-full wall. And the 2TB SSD gives you plenty of room for large project files, games, and a full backup without needing an external drive. But if you're a casual gamer who only plays a few titles a week, you might be overpaying for power you'll never tap. The laptop's i5-1334U, while a 10-core chip, is built for efficiency rather than raw gaming performance. In titles that lean heavily on GPU horsepower, you'll still be limited by the integrated graphics solution, which means you'll need to temper expectations on ultra settings at 1080p. For someone whose primary use case is streaming Netflix on a couch, the size and price become a harder sell. Now, let's talk about the practical strengths that actually matter once the box is opened. The first thing you notice is the sheer size of the display. At 17.3 inches, the panel offers a comfortable canvas for both gaming and productivity. In a recent gaming session of Elden Ring, the extra horizontal space let me see more of the environment without constantly moving the camera, which is a subtle but real advantage over a 15-inch screen. For content creators, the HD+ resolution isn't the sharpest on the market, but the color coverage is decent enough for quick video edits and photo retouches on the go. The backlit keyboard with HP's Copilot AI key feels solid, the keys have a satisfying travel distance, and the AI shortcut actually pulls up context-aware suggestions in Windows 11 Pro, which can shave a few seconds off repetitive tasks. The Wi-Fi 6 module is another win. In a crowded apartment building where the network is constantly battling other devices, I saw a more stable connection when streaming a 60 frames per second match on Twitch, compared to a previous older laptop that would dip into 30 frames per second. The business-grade security tools baked into Windows 11 Pro also give peace of mind for anyone handling sensitive documents. BitLocker encryption and TPM 2.0 are there out of the box. On the flip side, the weaknesses become clear after a few hours of use. The cooling system does its job, but not silently. Under sustained load, think a marathon gaming session or a 30-minute render, the fans spin up to a noticeable whine that can be distracting if you're trying to focus on a video call. It's not a full-blown mechanical roar, but you'll definitely hear it. Heat also spreads to the palm rest area, making the laptop feel warm after an hour of continuous work. That warmth isn't a performance killer, but it does affect comfort if you're typing for long stretches. Battery life is another compromise. With a 90Wh cell, HP advertises up to 8 hours of mixed usage, but real-world tests usually land around 4 to 5 hours when you have the screen at full brightness and the CPU nudging up to 4.6 GHz. If you're planning to use it on flights or in coffee shops without a power outlet, you'll need to bring the charger, which adds to the overall bulk. Portability, as hinted earlier, is the elephant in the room. The chassis is sturdy, but at roughly 6.5 pounds, it's more of a desktop replacement you can move rather than a truly mobile notebook. Getting it into a standard backpack is a tight fit, and the larger